I have something that I want to share with you quickly. My daughter, my husband and I have 4 children. My oldest is 10, and when I got back from Washington, D.C. At 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, I found this letter on my kitchen counter. My daughter had found out that Glenn Beck had appendicitis, and she wrote to Glenn, "Dear Glenn, my mom is the coordinator and director of the Asheville Tea Party. She left today with a group of patriots to protest at the Capitol. We normally watch your show together every night. My mom wasn't here to watch you, and we, Dad and I, found out you were sick. We were sad to hear that you were in the hospital, and we'll say a prayer for you so you will get better. I guess you were lucky getting sick before government-run health care." You'd have been a goner for sure. That's my daughter. We love your show, Gracie Franzi. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Anyway, what I want to do today is give you a bit of a progress report of what the Tea Party has been doing, both locally and nationally. And basically the progress report is that against the odds, we are making progress. There were 150 of us, of you all, at Heath Schuller's office in Asheville on Thursday. And of those 150, roughly 90 people brought letters in opposition to this Pelosi care bill that's being voted on today. Assuming that he can speed read like the rest of Congress, I'm sure he got through those letters. And they were faxed to his office while we were there. I was in Washington on that day, and there were tens of thousands of other people. I'm not in the business of crowd estimating, but I guarantee it was more than what the media told you. It's interesting, though, the energy of these crowds has changed. We're not really amazed by our own numbers anymore when we walk into a crowd of like-minded people. It used to be that we all just seemed sort of happy to be there, but now there's a change, a transition. We're focused and we're ready to act, and this last House call was I think a step in the right direction, because instead of just rallying, we moved on to that action. We went from the lawn to the congressional office buildings and took our message straight to the ones that would let us in. And the anger, I think, is growing, but it's a righteous anger. There's no sin in righteous anger, as long as it's directed appropriately. So the pressure is on, and these congressional law and constitution trashers and fence riders, I think they're scared. You know, they know that we meant it when we stood on the lawn and we chanted, "Kill the bill." I hope they know that we meant it when we stood on the lawn and chanted, "Vote them out." You know, they put on a pretty good front, behaving like we don't have any effect on them. Heath Schuller's office has told some of our people that the Tea Party movement represents a small minority. I think that this group and every group that I've had the pleasure of being involved with since this Tea Party began begs to differ with that opinion. And I think that he's going to be surprised in 2010 to find out that we're not a minority. On the news today, I was watching this very lively debate on the House floor, and the Rules Committee chairwoman, Louise Slaughter from New York, she said that she looked out of the Capitol windows on Thursday and she saw the protesters. And, her reaction was that we were there to intimidate them and to threaten them into not voting for necessary health care reform. Well, it's interesting to me to know that visiting our congresspersons is a threatening act. I didn't know they were so sensitive, but maybe that's why they don't answer the phone when we call. Maybe they're scared. Possible. Anyway, all of these things to me add up to evidence that we are making a difference, that they know who we are, and I think that they realize that our votes count and aren't quite sure what to do about that. Do they bow to our pressure, or do they bow to the pressure of the powerful people in the party? So So it's a dilemma if you put yourself in the position of not standing on principle, but standing on pragmatism and what's politically expedient, which unfortunately our congressperson has done. So the vote is today, and personally I'm nearly convinced that Heath Schuler is going to vote yes.
Yeah.
I'd love to be proven wrong. I've been wrong before, but whatever his vote is, it certainly matters in many, many ways, but I don't think it matters in the way that we go forward with Heath Schuler, because his votes are not based on principle.
Right.
They're based on whatever is expedient at the moment.
Right.
What I am certain of about Heath Schuler is that he just doesn't get it. There is a document that limits the power of the federal government, and I recommend that he reads it. I'm sure you all have read it. It's a lot shorter than a 2,000-page bill, and he might be able to find a copy on Capitol Hill. It's the Constitution. So this is what we have been engaged in now for a couple of months, pretty much full time. But as you know, the Tea Party is focused on limited government and expansion of liberty. So this is just but one battle in a war. We have cap and trade. We have the Copenhagen Climate Change Treaty, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, Internet neutrality, the Fairness Doctrine, public school indoctrination, Freedom of Choice Act, which is the legalized infanticide act. There's media bias. There will be more bailouts. The Fed is still printing money hand over fist. They have uncontrolled power. We have state sovereignty that we need to address, and the list does go on and on. It can be overwhelming, but we must not grow weary in doing good. We must stay engaged in the process. We are making a change, but it is gradual. It will continue to be gradual, and it will be frustrating. It is hard work, and it is going to take all of us a lot of effort to beat this beast of government control and take it down. I want to give you another challenge. That challenge is Raleigh, North Carolina. Raleigh is a city that is at least as corrupt as Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, Raleigh hasn't had nearly the scrutiny that Washington, D.C. has had on it to keep it somewhat in check. We're asking that our federal government return its power to the states. We'll take a look at who's running our state. Folks, we have a collection of tax and spend progressives who run this state with a mafia-style system of favors and crimes and cover-ups. We don't want to jump from the frying pan into the fire. We need to put pressure on them and clean up our own house so that when, not if, but when the federal government lets go of this power that is not constitutionally the federal government's and returns it to the states, we won't have the fools running the asylum. We really need to start at home. I know these national issues are big, they're all over the news. It's very hard to get information about state issues. I encourage you to listen to Matt Matan. I agree with him at times and disagree with him at times, but Matt is a wellspring of information about state issues. We have to start at home, and we have to tell these fat cats in Raleigh that business as usual is about to get a lot tougher, and we're not going away. If you're not getting our newsletter, you need to be. We're at AshevilleTeaParty.com. Get online, sign up for it. If you have any questions, you can contact me. It's AshevilleTeaParty.me, like me, myself, and I.com. I'm always available by email or telephone, and just welcome any help. We take donations. We operate on a shoestring. Nobody gets paid for anything. Occasionally we do advertising in the papers, and that is a bit pricey. So, that's all I've got. Thank you.